Hey everybody, Drew here, Director of Student Ministries at Calvary Community Church in Lenexa, Kansas. I hope you've had a wonderful week. With the weather that's been up and down, it's been everywhere. We've had nice sunny days. We've had thunderstorms, which is really cool because I love thunderstorms, so I can't complain too much about that. But let's jump into our lesson. Last week we started a series called Jesus Is. We talked about how Jesus is a Savior. How, obviously he died on the cross for us and we're so thankful for that. And that means so much to us. But also how he was a Savior even before that moment. How he was willing to do whatever it took to get us to a place where we could have a relationship with God. Something that's so amazing. Something that I say I definitely need. This week we're going to look into how Jesus is truth. Take a minute and think about a time you lied. But not just the time you lied, but a time you lied and got caught. I know we've all had those moments. It's not always the best. It's not always fun. In fact, a lot of times when this happens, we end up being called liars. Something that kind of hurts. But something we can realize from this, though, there are two things. There are lies, and then there's the truth. And it's not always easy to tell the difference between those two. In fact, the internet gives us so much information now that we can look up something and we can think it's true, and it could not be. But the information is right there on the tips of our fingers. The fact of it is, though, sometimes people post things as a joke, but it doesn't get taken that way. It gets taken seriously. Other times, there's just a bad source. There's something that comes up, and it just, might be all right, but the source isn't the best, and that way it ends up being a lie because they didn't do all the information. But the fact of it is it's easy to make false things true. Some people think the truth doesn't matter, in fact. Some say it doesn't exist. But the fact is, a lot of people believe that there's no way in the world that anything could be true for everybody. That's just hard to think. There's a lot of things that may be true for you, but aren't for me. And that's just how it is. But the fact of it is, we can look in our Bible and see moments where there's someone who is proven to be the truth. And that's just who it is. And someone that's true for everybody. In fact, there's this exact argument about how Jesus comes out and says he's the truth. He talks to Pontius Pilate, he's the Roman guard, or the Roman leader who was in the time when the religious leaders took Jesus to be crucified. They took him to Pontius Pilate because the religious leaders wanted him killed, but the fact of it is they couldn't do it. They weren't allowed to. They lived in a government under Rome, so at that point in time, the Romans were the only ones that could do it. So they took Jesus to Pontius Pilate, and while Pontius Pilate was trying to figure out all this information about if Jesus should be killed, he started questioning Jesus. He started to ask a bunch of questions. He started to figure out what Jesus was saying. He asked him if he was the king of the Jews, and he said kinda, which kind of left Pontius Pilate confused. But the fact of it is, he came back and asked a second question. He asked him who he was, and he was just trying to figure out if the Roman king was in trouble. But the fact of it is, Jesus came out and said something that left Pontius Pilate probably even more confused. Jesus came out and said that he's the truth. He comes to testify the truth. That's what he told Pilate. That's what he was there for, to tell people the truth. Which, for me, if I was Pilate, I've had a hard time getting Jesus on that cross because, I don't want somebody to tell the truth. And that's the fact of it is. But the fact is, too, it's not easy to tell what's true. In fact, a lot of times it's really hard. But when it comes down to it, there's one thing that we can say is always true. And Jesus made it clear. Jesus came out and said that he is the truth. The truth for all of us. Someone that is there for us, and someone that helps us through it all. And the fact is, too, when Jesus said he was the truth, people believed him. In fact, people who trust him still believe it today. I'm very thankful that Jesus is the truth. I'm very thankful that we have the moment to have a truth that we can all come around. that's what I have for you today. There's more readings about how Jesus comes in and says he is the truth in different ways at different times in the scriptures that I've given you that'll be right below this video on the webpage. I hope you take some time to read those stories and get more insight on how Jesus is the truth. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm praying for you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys in person again. Yeah, have a blessed day.